Hello, my name is Mateus. I am a Brazilian dietitian, and I'm currently in the process of becoming a registered dietitian here in the US too. So I'm trying to get those credentials. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about the process of getting the verification statement, which is one of the steps to apply for the dietetic internships to become a dietitian here as an international student. So, if you're interested in learning more about this process and how I got accepted to a dietetic internship and how that's going to go down next year, please subscribe. I'm going to be talking more about nutrition in general here, and we would love to have you. Okay, so what are the steps of becoming a registered dietitian in the US? So, first, you have to get an undergrad in nutrition, and you have to get a verification statement from the program that you do, from a didactic uh, program director, basically stating that you did all the courses that are required for you to become a registered dietitian here. Normally, it's a very straightforward process when you do the undergrad in the US. You should be talked about that and make sure that you're getting all those required classes to get the verification statement issued. Then you apply for dietetic internships and you complete the supervised practice. After you complete the supervised practice and and you get that verification statement, you can sit for the exam and get your credentials officially. Now, I did my undergrad in Brazil. I did a sandwich program between University of Brasilia in Brazil and Baylor University here in Texas. So my process was a little bit different. The CDR website has a flowchart of the pathway of becoming a registered dietitian for international students. They make it seem like it's pretty straightforward and simple, but it kind of isn't. So I'm gonna try to break it down a little bit and help you guys out. So the first step is to get your transcripts and your degree evaluated. The CDR website has a list of agencies that can do that, and I'm going to list all those links down below in the description box. The one that I chose was Spantran. And the reason why I chose it was just because they had an office in Houston, and I imagined it was going to be a little bit easier for me to get the process done since I do live in Houston. Now, you have to send them. It costs around 200 something, almost $300 to get the verification statement done. And the one that they recommend is the divisional course analysis that goes a little bit more in depth about the coursework that you took in your original country. My lovely cat is walking around with her little bell. Vai com o bumbum tam tam. So, Spantran can make the process get really easy for you. They have a bunch of add-ons that you can do that basically takes the burden off your hands of getting this evaluation done. I decided to go with the basics and try to do the rest of it by myself, which was quite challenging. They require your university to send the transcripts directly to them. And within my university in Brazil, it was quite a challenge to find the person responsible for that. They wanted the registrar's office to send it. Things just don't translate quite well. So it was a little bit of a hassle, but my university finally sent it straight to them and they issued the statement. It took me some time to get this process done because I was actually very nervous about doing it. I was kind of scared that the evaluation would come out saying that my degree is not equivalent and I would have to go back to undergrad again, which was kind of like a nightmare of mine. So I kind of procrastinated for a good 2 years to get this process started. But they issued the evaluation recommendation and they stated that my degree was equivalent to a US accredited school, which was wonderful. Okay, so I got my nutrition degree validated good to go. Okay, so the next step is to get the verification statement, which is the step that I wanted to talk a little bit more about in this video. The CDR website just says that you have to contact a DPD director so they can evaluate your transcripts and your evaluation to see if you have the courses required and to determine if you need to take extra classes or not to have the verification statement issued. Now, it was it was hard to get. They make it seem like it's just asking, but it kind of is not. A lot of the places that I reached out to, they said that they would only issue the verification statement if I did the DPD program through them. So without even analyzing any previous coursework, they wanted me to take extra 18 hours, 18 credit hours, and I didn't want to do that without even getting my transcripts evaluated. So after reaching out to a few places and they make it, I think a lot of the directors are not even familiar with the process for international students to have it done. So they just made it seem very difficult and were not very helpful, if I'm going to be very honest. So I decided to apply to a master's of science in nutrition, because I was like, even if I have to do an entire DPD program later on, in a couple of years, it's going to be a requirement to have a master's to even apply for the dietetic internship. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of the way while I try to figure out this verification statement issue. Now, when I started my master's program, I found out that the director for the DPD program with that university was one of my professors. And I had already built a good rapport with her, and I asked her if she could take a look, evaluate my degree, and she said yes. So she ended up, the way that the process worked at the end was kind of strange. So she evaluated everything that I did, and she had her list of courses that were required, and she basically selected the courses that I had done that were equivalent. Sorry, my freaking light died. So the way that she did it, she had a list of the courses that were the DPD courses on their program, and she started seeing what I had already done to see what was equivalent. For example, nutrition and life cycles, I did that in Brazil. Medical nutrition therapy, I did that in Brazil. Introduction to nutrition, biochemistry, all this different classes I had done in Brazil. So she started selecting those. She grabbed some courses from my undergrad in Brazil. She grabbed some courses from my master's that I was doing at the time here. And she grabbed some courses from the exchange program that I had done in Baylor. And she finally issued the verification statement. So I ended up getting it in a little bit of an unusual way that might actually work out for you too. My advice would be just to go for it and ask. I was kind of hopeless when I asked her. I was feeling a little bit defeated because I had asked so many places and they just said no. But I finally found that person that said yes. And she issued my statement, and I was finally able to apply for the dietetic internships, and I ended up getting accepted. And the process of applying for the internships and how I ended up getting accepted to this program that I actually don't have to pay for, which is great. And I actually get paid while I'm doing it, which is even greater. I'm gonna talk about in its own separate video. So if you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to help the channel grow. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to be talking more about the process of becoming a registered dietitian in the US for international students. And I also plan to have several segments about nutrition itself, with childhood nutrition, prenatal care and breastfeeding, which is kind of the specialty that I kind of focus on, cooking videos and recipes and all of that. So please do subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.